Hey guys, so a lot of people have been talking about how what Trump said today with regards to sending the Gazans to Egypt and to Jordan, how it's such a fantasy and how it's such a non reality and how it's such a pipe dream and all the rest of it, right? Guys, you know what I realized why people are saying this? When I say people, I'm talking about people who love Israel, Jews all over the world, Jews in Israel, diaspora. I'll tell you why, guys. Because for the past 30 years, basically since the mid 90s, if not before that, since Oslo, the so called Oslo Accords, we have been fed a steady diet of what's called the two-state solution, or as I like to call it, the two-state delusion. And the Israeli government, the media, international media, successive presidents have been literally raping us in the brain, mind blanking us with this absurd idea every day, every single day. Two-state solution, two-state solution, two-state solution, two-state solution, to the point where even if we know that it's bad, we can't think of anything else, meaning we can't even fathom any other solutions, or we can't even bring ourselves to think maybe there are other things that we can possibly present or come up with, or even dare to think about, right? How do I know that's true, guys? Because the enemy, our enemies, the people who would love to gut us all like fish, attacked us 3 times, like with multiple armies at the same time. We won all 3 times: 1948, 1967, 1973. And what did we do after that? We gave these people who would love to gut us all like fish citizenship in our country, and not only that, the ability to have representatives in our parliament, in our government. We are suicidal. We are absolutely, or our government is suicidal. The people who allow the government to do this are demoralized at best, suicidal at worst. So now we have this basically suicidal population, or semi-suicidal. Part of it is, part of it is not, right? But even the ones that are not allow the psychotics to run things, right? And to give these people who would gut us like fish the ability to live in our country. And then, a few years later, they just decide, okay, let's just start pushing this whole, idea that we have to give away half the country, and then we'll have peace with people who want to gut us like fish. My friends, I mean, like, you could say it's stupid. I don't believe that these people are that stupid. The ones in our government, I think that they hate us and they want us to die, right? So everything I just laid out to you guys, we've been putting up with and putting up with and putting up with. And to the point where there was one person who came out in the beginning, in the 70s, in the 80s, and he said, listen, we have to just, kick them all out. The people who would gut us like fish, most of them would. We have to kick them all out. And if you say, well, some of them are peaceful and this, that, and the other, again, it goes back to the Skittles analogy, right? If you have 100 Skittles in a bag and one of them is poison, would you eat any of the Skittles? No, you would not. So when this person said that, everybody vilified him. They turned him into the world's worst racist, and then eventually he was wiped out. He was eliminated. And from then on, the people who did that to him continued to push this incredibly suicidal idea, beyond suicidal. And then as they pushed that idea, we got rivers of blood and rivers of blood and rivers of blood and rivers of blood at the hands of these people who would gut us like fish, right? It wasn't all of them, but it was like a few choice ones, right? And then we catch them and we arrest them and we put them in prison instead of executing them. And then we get this crescendo. It's such a, it's like an opera. It's a crescendo, which is not a river of blood. It's an ocean of blood. A big Pacific Ocean-sized blood in October 7th, right? And a lot of people wake up, right? A lot of the so-called people who are allowing the government to be, take us down this suicidal path. And yet the government still refuses to win. And it refuses to win despite us begging the government to win, right? And not only that, the government exchanges our own people for those orcs, for those guys that we caught who caused those previous rivers of blood. My friends, so now we have a guy, a president, American president, comes and says, we just got to transfer some of these people, not all, but some of these people at least the ones in Gaza, to Egypt and Jordan. And we have the audacity to be negative about it, or to say that it's not possible, or to be downright against it. My friends, this is everything I just laid out to you. From start to finish, from 1948 until today, the armies that attacked us beating them back, and then us giving them citizenship, and then us killing the person who said that that's stupid and suicidal, and then us pushing an idea for 30 years to give away half the land that we basically captured in this war, these wars of self-defense. And then finally, all these attacks, and then finally the crescendo of this horror show, and us refusing to win, and now we're refusing to do something that may enable us to live in security. My friends, this is astounding. If you're not astounded that by everything I just laid out to you, the reality of it, the suicidal nature of it, the stupidity at best of it, then you are brain dead. Then you're a zombie. Then I have no other words for you. My friends, I'm just going to let it simmer in your hearts and in your minds, everything I just said. I'm not about, hating other people for its own sake. I'm not about this or that. I'm just about keeping Jews safe. And if you see that for the past 50 years, whatever's been done by the Israeli government, by what's called the political class, is achieving the opposite, and especially the last 30 years, and this psyop of two-state solution, two-state solution, two-state solution, and two-state solution, and now we have this, it's almost like a demo tape for Auschwitz, right? Like a timeshare tour of, like a one-day timeshare tour of Auschwitz, or Khmelnytsky massacre, and you still want to continue with this stuff? You still want to do what never worked and never will? And you want to continue on a path of just self-destruction? I don't know what else to tell you guys. I really don't. And, yeah. Totally speechless. That said, guys, B'ezrat Hashem, I hope Hashem has something good in store for us, because clearly we're not capable. We're not capable. Hashem has to make miracles for us. Kind of like this week's Parsha. He just has to, do what he did to Pharaoh, to Paro, And then next week's parsha is the splitting of the sea. And that's it. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.